agreement with Wayne Memorial and Project Search. This is the program we discussed as a transition plan with Wayne Memorial Hospital for our special needs students who would get job-specific training as part of their IEPs. So that would be Number 14 is our overnight trips in the chaperones, primarily band and orchestra, and should the need arise to go on to states, regionals, etc.
Do we do these this much every year?
Well, these are not all guaranteed. They're in the case that they we have students qualify.
Yeah, there aren't either.
Correct.
And this is all the district's cost, or are they per student, putting in and out per student, or is this just all the district's cost, or is that what costs them?
Those are estimated costs that they anticipate with the housing and transportation and average number of students that they would have per.
And it would be at our cost, all but the band trip. The band trip is not at the district cost.
In regards to our band, how good they are, they got new uniforms, were bought for them, and they look awesome. Did the band, as they always do, chip in toward the uniforms? Or
We bought them some ancillary things.
They always
the
help
full
out,
uniform was
right?
paid for by the district.
Yeah, and they look really sharp, and the other ones were, how old were they offhand, Rose? They were pretty
Late
old, right?
90s.
Yeah, they were
late
well
90s to late
taken
90s,
care of.
They did take very good care of.
Yeah, they sure did, and they look nice. Yeah.
Okay, number 15, transportation substitutes. There's a list of those on the sub-list. Number 16 is a new contract. This is a contract that was given up by another contractor that we're replacing that van run with this individual. Number 17 is an extension of a current run. Should the need arise to transport students to PATH. Number 17, our district substitute list. We have 4 new people up for substitutes or guest teachers. Letter B.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Yes.
About, since we have so many substitutes in those teachers. I had a text from a woman who I don't know, she was just a guest teacher, and she reached out to me about what a challenge it is for our new substitutes who aren't familiar with the schools. And she said I probably would not go back to the high school because she just didn't feel prepared. And I know we spoke about having, how Wallenpaupack has a substitute night. Would we still be able to maybe possibly do something like that for our subs? Maybe not this year, but
We can, the difficult
starting
part.
next year.
Yeah, the difficult part would be about, if anybody comes in midway throughout the year, then they would miss it. So if we maybe have one at midpoint
Sure.
or something like that.
Yeah,
we
I just
could
think it would
definitely-
benefit our subs because so many of them are coming in blindly. I know they get a packet,
Right.
but it's still not the same. And she had a lot of issues with the computer, she didn't have the code, all of these things, and it really made for a rough day, and that's just
She
one sub.
actually called me and I met with her today, and she did give me some hint, like some
Yeah,
ideas.
she
And
sent
they're
me a
really
huge
very
text.
simple things that,
Right,
you know, Matt
which
and I
is,
talked about that we could probably do when they're hired, that we could, when we send the email, just send with it.
Right.
You
okay,
know, rather than wait until they got there.
Yeah,
So we did talk about
Good,
that today.
good,
So
yeah.
I think there's some things that we could do easily,
good.
you know.
It would just keep our
yeah.
substitutes sticking around.
I was glad
Yeah.
that she took the time to, you know,
Yeah.
just to express
very
them,
nice.
you know.
Yeah.
Very nice,
Yeah,
very
definitely.
nice.
Thank you.
Letter B is the department chairperson for our nurses. Letter C
That's
is,
personnel, no, so I don't know that. Personnel.
I'm sorry?
That is personnel coming up. I don't know how you want to do that, because usually you wouldn't give a name and not do that.
Yeah, I'm not giving that,
Okay.
just position.
Okay,
Just
thank you very
position.
much.
Letter C is a long-term substitute position. That would be for one of our teacher sabbaticals. Letter D is the appointment of our nighttime custodian, our second shift. Letter E is the drama advisor position. And letter F is a recommendation for the transfer of our guidance counselor from elementary to high school.
Matt, could I just say one thing on that also with the guidance counselor? I know so many have different opinions on that, But after I left, I went home and I was thinking, you know, we've added $15 million to these buildings, and without a public having a problem with it. But yet we want to add a counselor to help with inside the building. And it just seems like so many people panic, and I don't understand it. Because when it comes down to it, it is for the students. And, you know, it just kind of, I don't know why the public just panics.
Well, I didn't really panic. I thought if we went with a part-time guidance counselor, as I spoke,
Yeah.
and that we take a look through the year and see how it works out,
Yeah.
plus or minus, or what we really are looking at. My opinion was then that person would go to full-time if that was the feeling. And we'd get a good look at whoever it is and see how they work in our system and that. So that was my opinion for a part-time guidance counselor.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason for it.
No, and it might work,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's definitely an avenue to look at, but, you know, I just even being out in the public, people panic whenever there's a new hire position, and I don't understand it, you know, we're putting 15 million into these buildings, but it's the inside that truly matters.
And for being out in
And
the
if there's
trail,
a need.
there's a lot of people that don't have a problem with what we're doing. They're pretty proud of
Yeah.
what we're doing and with their children being in our school system. But there are some out there that maybe complain because the burden is getting a little bit high for
I
them.
see that.
And I always said from Mr. Adams and therefore to all of you, the state constitution, again, I hate to harp on it, but we're paying 65%. The Constitution said it's 50-50. Government pays 50 to public education. The locals pay 50%. We've been paying 65 for quite some time, and 35 is the state is all they're doing. They're breaking their own laws as usual, like Act 1 and the gambling revenue, and something needs to be done by all of us districts together to straighten that mess out down there. Because if we got the 50% versus the 35%, we might not be always in a situation where we're tight for a buck to maintain what we're trying to do here at Western Wayne for the students and their parents. And that's a major problem. It really is. And we should sit down and talk about it sometime. We got Ethan here now with his law background. No, that's
Will you get on that for us, Ethan?
that's real important. It's really important that we have help like this in all areas.
That gentleman was here that night, did anybody get his name, that new guy from Jersey? He was so interesting, I know.
He was, yeah.
But, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm good.
You know about that? Do you remember that we were talking about?
Okay, letter G are coaches for basketball and baseball. And then letter H is a list of volunteers. And then we have our informational items. And then our reports.
A lot of dates to remember.
It's that time of year.
You're gonna
Practice now.
Are we real slow? Real slow reading.
We were supposed to have UGI, a representative from UGI here tonight, and he wasn't able to make it. He's asking for a reschedule, so it'll be up to Mr. Olsemer and the superintendent to set up another meeting. I will be the in-between guy for you to contact Joe. But the good news is, I met with this Joe O'Connor, and we did a walkthrough from Waymart out to the corners a week ago, last Monday. And he was doing a survey to see how many people in Waymart on Belmont Street right now who would be interested in UGI gas for their home heating. And a lot of people were really interested, and naturally there were some renters. So I told Joe, you got to talk to Mr. Grimm about that, because he owns a lot, and I'm trying to think of who else does, but those are the people that UGI is going to hook up with, just to see what they're thinking about heating those homes. And but it went real well. We had a good morning, and actually I wore him out. He couldn't make it all the way to the corner, but it is what it is. So.
Well, your dad needs some warm up.
Yes, I did. Yeah, well, he's a little heavier than me. He was struggling there. I was going to stop in the Belmont, but I figured if he ate, we wouldn't get no further.
All right, anything else?
Okay.
I have one thing.
Go ahead.
It's just a little quirk, I guess. We support our band and our chorus a lot. So I was wondering if it'd be possible to ask them if they would share in doing the national anthem at the home sporting events. Most of the time in boys basketball, there's a group of musicians there anyway.
Right.
But then the ones that's not, you know, maybe it's not nicer than listening to a scratchy recording going off all the time.
Yeah. At least have a
We
couple of
might even let them
representatives.
pass a plate, a little donation.
Yeah, for kids, yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. God.
I got a bucket if you need to carry it.
You think I'll fill it?
All those tunes?
Real good idea. Keep the kids involved.
What's the Prosper fundraiser? Is that occurring during school hours or is it after
No,
school?
it's after school.
Okay.
Mrs. Miller could help you better, she's in charge of Prosper,
All right.
so she might be able to help you better. I know that it's vendors, correct? The Prosper fundraiser?
Yes, a group of local vendors. So we're running it kind of like a craft fair, a vendor craft fair. We applied to use the buildings, and the vendors are donating a portion of their proceeds to the Prosper program. So it's the equivalent of a craft fair except on a smaller scale. We're thinking of ramping it up next year and offsetting it a while from the high school band craft fair.
Okay.
You know, just, we didn't anticipate the volunteer, the extension from the vendors, and we did not want to turn them down, and so we applied and went through the process.
How did that first one go?
Here we did pretty well. Evergreen, just in things maybe people forgot because of the timing of the announcement, we may have sent it out a little too early. So we have one more at the middle school, and we're going to try to send a reminder.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's pretty good. Yes. And then, I'm sorry, and then our committee for interviews would meet after that.
Okay, all right,
So,
very good, and we'll talk to
Brian?
Brian and Joe.
Yep.
and exec- Okay, very good. All right, thank you, people. We're gonna meet in the executive session. Thanks.
Thank you.